Hi, today on This Ain't No Buffet, we are cooking Gypsy Chili and Tangerine Dream. We'll also be learning some interesting cooking techniques, so stick around for This Ain't No Buffet, coming to you from Las Vegas. Welcome to This Ain't No Buffet. I'm Chef Claude Lamberts, chef instructor here at UNLV.
And I'm Anna Hagelman of the Hank Greenspun School of Journalism and Media Studies. Today I'll be Chef Lambert's assistant. For many years, Las Vegas was known as the buffet capital of the world.
But today, Las Vegas is home to a number of restaurants and talented chefs, many of whom you'll meet on our show.
Claude, like our guest, is a professional chef. So throughout this course of the show, I'll be asking Claude questions that you might have at home. We have a very exciting show planned today. Our guest chef will be Jamil Gadea from Picasso, and he'll be preparing Tangerine Dream. But before we get to dessert, I understand that we're going to be making Gypsy Chili.
Gypsy Chili.
Sounds good already.
Well, we're going to have to rush this real quick because that Tangerine Dream goes a little bit longer than normal, so we're going to rush this.
I'm excited for dessert. I love dessert.
So what I've already done here, I've already put some salt and pepper. I've got browned beef, veal, and pork. Okay? So the next thing we want to do is we want to brown our vegetables. So we got celery, onions, and of course garlic.
Gotta have garlic for chili.
Garlic for everything. We'll stir that in. And basically what we'd want to do is let that brown. But in the meantime, I need you to shred some cheese.
Okay, perfect.
So we'll take this block of cheese, and I will cut it down. I don't think you want to do this whole great big piece. So we'll go and cut that, and if you'll shred that part, we'll be just fine.
So tell me the premise of your Gypsy Chili. Is there anything in particular that comes with Gypsy Chili, or?
No, that's what makes it Gypsy Chili. If you think back in the 1800s, when the gypsies were running around all over Europe, they just took whatever they had and threw it in a pot. Well, this is basically chili flavored, and it's the same thing. You throw anything in there.
Anything left over in the kitchen cabinet, right?
Right. So I got some chili powder here. Lots of chili powder.
All right, and does that really give it a spice, or is that just more of the chili flavor?
A little bit of spice, but not much.
Okay.
And then we got some cumin.
Now, what flavor does the cumin add?
Boy, now you stump me because
it just goes in chili.
And cayenne pepper.
Okay.
Like it spicy?
I love spicy, so I would add extra cayenne pepper for me.
Yeah, there's some wusses here. We'll better not. Okay, then we'll stir that all in. Like I said, this should be all browning. And when the vegetables have been sweated, and we're going to presume they already have, we're going to start adding in our tomato product.
And is that just pureed tomato or tomato?
Yeah, tomato puree, diced tomatoes.
Okay.
And I just want to show that like, you can want to have a party at your house and somebody bring a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I even got a little can of stewed tomatoes. Throw that in there. No ketchup.
Okay.
Okay. Beans, juice, everything, throw that in there.
And those are kidney beans?
Kidney beans.
Okay.
And then we got red beans. I think the only thing I wouldn't throw in there is probably some lima beans.
Okay.
Other than that, you could throw garbanzo beans, black beans, you name it, you could throw that all in there. And we'll stir that all in.
No, I can already smell that chili flavor. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, now what you would do is you let it simmer just for a little bit, bring it up to temperature, and then you would add that beef stock that's in that pan right there.
Perfect. There you go.
And we'll just throw that whole thing in.
So for that beef stock, did you just buy that at the store, or do you?
You can make it. I doubt many people make it anymore.
Homemade beef stock.
And then you just let that simmer.
Perfect, and let all the flavors
done.
get in. And
Yeah, the longer you cook it, in fact, we can cook it for a couple hours today, cool it off, put it in the refrigerator, put it back on tomorrow, and then it'll even taste better.
so all the flavors seep in. And
We did the same thing. We got it right here. We got this one all done.
oh, perfect.
Want to stir that around a little bit?
Perfect. I'm so excited to taste this. I have our cheddar cheese all grated.
Ooh, that nice smell. Love chili. If you want to give me that bowl,
And the ladle.
and we'll get ourselves a nice big bowl of chili.
And of course, the cheese.
Oh yeah, we got to have another. No, we got to have 2 ladles in there at least.
All
A little
right.
cheese in the middle. Okay, and then some diced onion.
Okay.
Sprinkle that on.
Just everywhere?
Everywhere, sure.
All right.
And you just made some chili.
Perfect. Well, it looks
Gypsy
delicious.
chili.
I'm excited to try your Gypsy Chili. So let's go ahead and have a taste here. That is delicious. Not too spicy, but definitely you can feel the little kick in there. I like it.
Well, like I said, you can just about put anything in there.
Well, why don't you go ahead and review the ingredients for your Gypsy Chili?
Okay, in this case we had beef and veal and pork ground. We had chili powder, we had cumin, salt, pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper, celery, onions, and garlic, of course. And then we grated it with some, we put some on top of grated cheese and some diced onions.
Great. Well, stay with us. We're coming right back with Chef Jamil Gadea.
Hi, I'm Chevy Checker. A new twist in the law makes it easier than ever to save on your Medicare prescription drug plan costs. So what are you waiting for? Go to socialsecurity.gov and apply for extra help. It's easier than learning the twist.
Welcome back to This Ain't No Buffet. Anna, would you introduce our guest?
I'd be happy to, Claude. Today we're very lucky to have Chef Jamil Gadea from Picasso as our guest. Thanks for joining us, Jamil. I understand that you will be preparing Tangerine Dream. Are you ready to get started?
I sure am.
Great.
All right, so we're gonna get started here by making our Italian meringue. Just gonna need just a little bit of sugar here. I'm gonna have 3/8 of a cup of sugar.
Okay. Just 1 cup?
It's just 3/8 of a cup. It's basically like 6
Roughly.
tablespoons.
Okay.
Easy way to figure that out. 1/2 cup, 3/4 of that, and you're there.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so an equal amount of corn syrup and just a little bit of water. The water is going to help melt the sugar, and the corn syrup really helps the sugar from crystallizing.
That just looks like a lot of sweet stuff in one bowl.
Well, you know you got to have it. It is dessert after all.
It's very true.
Okay, so I'm just going to get this on the back here, and we're going to bring this up to a temperature of 240 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So
You
it's
needed
gonna-
the thermometer?
Yes, I will. And now I'm not going to put the thermometer in there until after it boils,
Okay.
because if you put it in too early, it may crystallize.
Okay.
So you got to be careful of that.
No
Okay.
caramel color.
Yeah, no caramel color. It's going to be very light, just kind of like, think like chewy candy.
Okay. Like
Okay.
taffy, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do is start our soda suds.
Perfect.
Now for the soda suds, I'm going to take a saucepan, and before I put in any of the tangerine juice, what I'm going to do is take, basically this is the same amount of sugar, it's 3/8 of a cup.
More sugar. I like
More
it.
sugar, I know, you love it. Okay, and here I have pectin. This is just regular powdered pectin that you'd find in the store, in the grocery store. And we're going to take 1 teaspoon.
Okay.
of the
And that's
pectin.
kind of like what they use in Jello, right? It kind of just like gets
Jelly.
everything
Jelly.
to stick
Jelly.
together.
Yeah,
Jelly.
you make
Okay.
jellies and jams. You find it by where you can do the home canning and preservation.
Okay.
And you're gonna just stir this up. You want to make sure that the pectin is kind of distributed within the sugar. Otherwise, it may clump up and form some lumps, and it won't dissolve.
Okay.
And of course, you want it to dissolve.
And so this
Okay.
is the tangerine juice.
This is the tangerine juice. Now, it's definitely best if you can squeeze your own, but if you
Okay.
can't, you can buy some in the store. I'm just gonna put a portion of this tangerine juice in here because I want it to cool quickly once it's done. And that way it won't get that sort of orange juice concentrate flavor.
Okay.
Now, I wanna add some flavor to this. Let me get this on the stove real quick. If it'll light. There we go. So I want to add some flavor to this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take a vanilla bean, fresh vanilla bean. Have you ever had vanilla bean? Smell that. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's delicious. I've actually only had the concentrate before, so I've never actually had the real vanilla bean. I like it.
Well, you're in for a treat.
So you just kind of cut it in half right there?
Yeah, so I'm going to split it. Be careful at home, if you can do it, maybe do it that way. I'm just so used to doing it
Okay.
the way I just did.
Just right in half. Yeah, that
Okay.
was pretty thin right there.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And I just take the back of my knife. Make sure you don't use the front of your knife. You don't want to cut yourself.
Okay.
Use the back of your knife, and you can just scrape these little beans in there.
Oh wow.
Scrape these in there, and you can actually just throw the whole thing in. That just, this is going to bring to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, those beans are going to just go all over the place. Okay. Also, we're going to add in there star anise. Have you ever seen a star anise before?
I haven't, but
It has, just like regular anise, it has a sort of licoricey flavor, and
yeah, it's the black licorice.
yeah, not your favorite. And obviously it's a star shape, so we're gonna put a couple of those in there.
Just for the flavor, just kind of brings it out a
Yeah,
little bit.
what I find, what I really like is a little bit of that licoricey flavor with citrus is really great.
So it's not too overpowering.
Right, it's not like you're chewing on the licorice or anything.
Right.
Also, we have some kaffir lime leaves. Now, these are exactly what I said there. They're the leaf of the lime, and they have a really great aromatic. Very, very sweet, almost like a lime candy.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
Great,
a
so-
sweet lime.
Exactly. So we're just going to leave this in there until it boils. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and prepare some fruit. So, you know what? Before we do that, why don't I check my sugar?
Okay.
Now the sugar is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the lid off and put the thermometer in there. And like I said, we're going for a temperature of 240 degrees. Now, when this thermometer gets close, I'm going to go ahead and take my egg whites right now and put them in the mixer. That's 4 egg whites. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of sugar and
Okay.
put it in there. Now this sugar in there is going to sort of stabilize those egg whites because this sugar is very hot over there on the stove. And once we pour that sugar in there, it's going to want to cook those eggs like scrambled eggs. And of course, we don't want scrambled eggs.
Not for dessert.
So those will stabilize them. And once the sugar is close, we're going to turn that on and whip in as much volume in them as we can before we pull in the sugar. Chef, would you mind grabbing that
I
ice
most
bath
certainly
over there? Okay, so now this is boiled. I'm going to go ahead and strain out all this stuff, all those nice spices.
That has a really nice smell already. I can,
Yeah, if
you can smell the vanilla.
Absolutely. And if you're making this, you can go ahead and let this set for 10-15 minutes in the pan, and to infuse all those good flavors, I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of the tangerine juice over the spices and vanilla.
So,
that-
is there any in particular reason you're doing this on ice? Because is it just supposed to chill it, or?
Yeah, I mean, right now I just want to get this cold quickly, so
okay.
I'm going to go ahead and put it on an ice bath. And what I want you to do for me, if you
Okay.
can, I'm going to put this right here. You can go ahead and spin this. Now, by spinning it, you get sort of centrifugal force. It's kind of like an ice cream machine when you pour the ice cream in and it spins all around the sides, and it just gets it cold quicker as
Okay.
opposed to stirring it inside the bowl. So now I notice that our sugar is very close. I think that's a very good job, Anna. You're a great spinner.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna turn our sugar on here, or egg whites on here, so we can get our sugar in there. Now I'm going to turn this on high so I can get the most volume possible. One thing you want to look for also, Anna, is you want to make sure that there's no sugar in there that is not being mixed in.
Okay. So
Because
nothing
it'll
on the
be
side.
yeah, because it'll be there in the end, and that's something you don't want.
And for people doing this at home, you got to be really careful that you don't have any egg yolk in the egg white
Right.
or any residual oil anywhere, because it'll just ruin the whole thing.
Very good point, Chef.
Yeah.
Very good point. Egg whites don't whip with fat. They won't whip with fat at all. So we're just going to give this a few more seconds.
That's whipping up very nice. Getting a nice white color.
Definitely.
Looks like whipped cream almost.
Yeah, almost like a shaving cream or whipped cream. Okay, now I'm gonna, when you want to pour the sugar in, you're gonna turn the mixer down to medium or
Okay.
medium-low, and you're gonna make sure that you pour the sugar in a medium slow stream down the side of the bowl, so that it goes down to the bottom of the bowl. You don't want to mix it into the whip attachment at all,
Okay.
because what will happen, it will get caught up in the whip and you'll get sort of a cotton candy effect.
Right.
And you
so
definitely something you don't want.
and it still looks very fluffy, so you did it right.
No scrambled eggs here.
Exactly.
Okay, so now that we have, oh, this is nice and cold, that's good. We're gonna take our soda suds out. And we actually make them soda suds at this point.
Okay.
This is a very cool thing. This is a ISI soda siphon. Now, I'm pretty sure you've seen the whipped cream whippers that are like
Right.
this, but this is a little different. This one actually makes soda or can carbonate.
Carbonation. Okay,
Yeah, it will
cool.
carbonate for you.
So you're making your own soda, basically.
Yeah,
Your own tangerine soda.
absolutely. Very
Sounds
cool,
good.
right?
Sounds really good.
So this is kind of interesting. This one has this little guy down here that you need to make sure that's in there before you pour this in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna very carefully get this in there.
Now, should I be watching these egg whites? Are they good to keep spinning for a while?
Very good question, Anna. Those egg whites, they need to whip and
Okay.
continue to whip on a medium or low speed until they are cool or just slightly warm.
Okay.
You really want to make sure that you don't pull it off early, otherwise you're not going to have successful Italian meringue.
Okay, so they do still feel a little warm right now.
Okay, we can go ahead and turn this down just a little bit. And
Do you want it to peak at all?
it's going to be sort of a soft peak, Chef.
Okay, all right.
It's going to be a soft peak and still very smooth, sort of like a shaving cream consistency. I know we don't want to eat shaving cream, but it's a good reference point.
So I'm interested in this soda machine still. Is this something you could buy at the grocery store? Or?
Actually, you can't really buy it at a grocery store. Where I got this is you can buy it in town at a place called Chef Rubber.
Okay, so like a chef store.
Yeah, professional chef store.
Excuse me.
Where's my thing? There it is. Okay, so here we have the soda charge in here,
Okay.
and just gonna put it in here. This fits. Screw it on.
And that's what's going to give it the bubbles right there.
Yeah, and you can. Why don't you go ahead and screw that on, so
Okay.
you can feel it actually go in there. You feel it go in there?
Ooh, I heard it.
Okay, so once you get it in there, go ahead, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like it's going to
professional
explode.
Professional
not too much.
bartender.
I know, it's like champagne.
Okay, good. So it's that easy. Our soda suds are ready to go. So the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and prepare the fruit. Now I brought some fruits that are in season, and what I have here are tangerine, persimmon.
Okay.
This is a Caviar lime, which we used the leaves earlier.
Okay.
And do you have any idea what this is?
I don't. It kind of looks like an acorn or a nut.
That's a good guess, but it's actually a lime. It's called a finger lime or a caviar lime. And so what's really interesting about this lime is if you put out your hand, you'll be able to see. You squeeze it, and it actually looks like caviar.
Oh, wow.
They just burst in your mouth like caviar. Why don't you go ahead and try it?
Okay. I'm just going to shoot it back. Wow.
Really interesting.
kind of sour, but it's like little bubbles that explode.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I'm gonna start cleaning up this tangerine. I'm just gonna take the ends off here and go around very carefully and sort of just take off this skin. Now be careful that you get the whole thing all the way around.
Okay.
You don't want to, obviously nobody wants rind on their tangerine segments.
Definitely not.
Okay. Just push that out of the way and go ahead and segment these.
Oh, that smells good too. Just nice citrus flavors.
So basically, you can make this out of oranges. You can make it out of just about anything you wish, can't you?
That is absolutely right, Chef. You know, anything in season. My philosophy here is if it's in season, use it. This can be made orange. You know, change the recipe. You can make it berries. You can make it whatever you like. Okay, and the next, here we have a persimmon. We have a Fuyu persimmon. Now this one's nice and ripe. Sometimes they're not as ripe, and you can still eat them while but they're really crunchy.
Great.
This one is nice and soft. I got it up at the farmer's market last week.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna cut it into some slices here. Now, the skin on these is edible, but I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off.
Cut it off? Perfect.
That
Yeah, I'm
is
so
definitely nice
excited
and
to
light.
try this dish. I'm really looking forward to it. I think your egg whites are almost done, so.
Oh, that's great. Absolutely. So, actually, let me go ahead and check those.
Perfect.
Still just a little bit warm. Still just a little bit warm. So we're gonna let this go just a minute longer.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the kaffir lime, and now this has really almost for a lime, it's sort of a sweet and spicy sort of flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and the persimmon with that because persimmon is just very sweet.
Okay.
It's a very sweet fruit, so it definitely benefits from the acidity of the lime. So let me just get all these fruits together, what we need. We're gonna also take a little bit of mint here.
Okay. Fresh mint. It's always a nice flavor.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not a huge fan of mint, but with the flavors here, I think it does work well. And we're just gonna do sort of what's called a chiffonade. We're just gonna just sort of thinly slice these leaves.
Okay. Just a really thin
Yeah,
chopping.
just as thin as you can, just
Okay.
slicing as thin as you can.
And that smells very good too. It has that nice mint aroma.
Yeah,
Comes up.
absolutely.
And this right here won't turn black.
Yeah. Okay, so our egg whites are done. And what we're gonna do now is whip the creme fraiche. Or we're gonna grab our creme fraiche. And for this,
And is creme fraiche is that a whipped cream or a?
very good question. Creme fraiche is a cultured cream
Okay.
that is made by combining a little bit of buttermilk and fresh cream and allowing the cultures to act.
Okay.
And it has a very, it's almost like sour cream. It's a little different. It has a nice sort of tangy flavor.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and whip this not too stiff. Actually, you probably don't need to whip this very much at all because we want our semifreddo to be sort of loose.
Okay. Nice and
So
creamy.
just gonna whip this a little bit. Probably, I'll say 15, 20 seconds with a, good amount of energy.
All right. So is there anything else I can do to help prepare for finishing the dish?
Absolutely. You can go ahead and pull the Italian meringue off.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna lower this. I'm gonna push this up, pull that off. This comes off like this.
Okay. We have some of the pre-made already.
Okay, and so now we need to fold these two together. Where should we put this? Spatula. Thank you, Chef. So now what we're gonna do is take 1/3 of our egg whites and
Okay.
add them into the creme fraiche and just fold gently. You don't have to be too gentle because you're not really worried about losing air here.
Okay. You just want to make it nice and...
You don't want to stir it like you're whipping it or anything.
Okay.
You want to mix it in and make sure that it does get mixed in all the way.
Nice
like
and
I said,
light.
Yeah, very light, and like I said, you want it to be nice and soft in the end. If you give it a little stir like that, that's fine. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Here. Okay, there's our base. This is our semi-Fredo base.
Okay, perfect.
And we have a glass, portion scoop. Or
All right, great. I'm so excited to taste this. So let's go ahead and put the fruit in, and
Okay,
I'm ready for some dessert.
so we're gonna get this in the glass.
Okay.
You know, just fill it up halfway maybe. This goes in the freezer,
Okay.
and here's one I made earlier.
Okay, so when it comes out, it's nice and
Nice and frozen. And we're gonna add our fruit on top
perfect.
here. These segments can just go around.
Okay.
Gonna squeeze a little bit of that lime on top.
Great color.
Perfect. I am so excited to eat this. This looks delicious.
Sprinkle of the mint.
And it looks beautiful.
And of course, we can't forget our soda suds.
Oh,
Now,
perfect.
when you dispense these soda suds, be careful because it is under high pressure.
Okay.
So you should definitely maybe do it into another container before you pour it over. And it comes out just like that, like soda suds.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's the addition of the pectin. They have a nice sort of dessert cocktail there for you.
Oh, perfect. All
And
right,
that's
so
the
I'm going to go ahead and
Tangerine
taste this. All right. It's delicious. Oh, that's so good. It's like orange soda.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's delicious.
You want to review the ingredients that you got here so let everybody know what you put in there?
Great, yeah. So for this, you're gonna need egg whites, sugar, vanilla bean, light corn syrup, creme fraiche, tangerine juice, pectin powder, star anise, kaffir lime leaves, tangerine segments, caviar lime, and persimmon.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for being here today, Chef Jamil. The dish was amazing. Absolutely loved it. And thank you so much for all of you joining us.
We'll see you next time on This Ain't No Buffet.